Okay, I want to show you in this video a reading review. You know what I expect from the reading review. I know that it's something new to you, and it was something new to me, but I think it's a good learning tool. It's Socratic. We're going to be asking you to ask a question of the text that you're reading, and then answer it, or even address it. You don't even have to really answer it, but interact with the question in the content. So in the elements of the reading review are, first of all, summarize Metzger, which means, just tell me what you read, and then you formulate one question, and you write half the words, half the required words on that question, and then you go to the New Testament, and you do the same thing. So it's a lot easier than it looks. So 300 words are required. 150 words on one question regarding Metzger, and 150 words about the New Testament. And basically, you're giving yourself your writing prompt, and the 150 words will just come right out of you. So, this is how you do a good review. You present your question from Metzger, and then you give the brief summary of the reading and how it relates to your question, and then explain how or why you chose to focus on your question. Notice you don't have to answer your question, just ask it. And philosophically, I believe that your question dictates the answer when it comes to, at least when it comes to historical questions. Like you have to have a lot of background knowledge to even ask the right question. And for you, the right question is, what does it mean to you? And that's a profound question. It's not, it's simple, but it's not an easy question to answer. So we're going to be exploring the New Testament with that in mind. So you ask yourself one question from Metzger, and then you do the same thing with your New Testament. And your question addresses a topic of your choice in the reading. You focus on something that grabbed your attention. For example, you can tell me why something made you angry, why something made you sad, something that inspired you, and just remember that the question focuses on something that interests you, and only you can explain your reaction. So tell me what's going on. Do's and don'ts for your reading review. Um, keep this in mind. When you formulate your question about Metzger, you're letting the professor know that you have read and understood the text. The question should reflect knowledge of what Metzger had to say in the reading. And when you summarize Metzger, don't just list subject headings that are in the book. I've read the book, I know what it says. Uh, I'm just looking for some kind of response from you after you've read it. And then when you tell me how or why you formulated the question, please give me an answer related to the content of the reading. It's not because you're forced to take the course. You know what? I'm going to revise that because I want to leave the answer thing out. And then, give you the same instructions for the New Testament. Okay, don't ask a simple yes or no question. There must be a reason for asking the question, a purpose for it. And I get back to here, don't worry about the answer. And this is important. You don't need to be able to answer the question. The purpose of the exercise is to learn how to ask questions that reflect an understanding of the topic. And then I give you some samples of good reading reviews. And you see here, they start by asking the question for Metzger, and then they give a little bit of a explanation, and then they give a question that addresses the New Testament, and that's a good review. I'll give you another one. Okay, now, what if you only have a reading in Metzger and there is no reading in the New Testament? Well, you just ask two questions about Metzger. And then, if there's only reading in the New Testament, which happens a couple times, then only ask two questions about the New Testament. So, you still keep the same basic format and instructions. Let me know if you have any questions. This is a lot easier than it looks. I'm just interested in what you have to say after you've interacted with the text a little bit. Okay, one more thing that I wanted to talk about is the discussion area. Okay, this is the discussion area section. If you watch the other syllabus video, I mentioned that 4 posts are required each week in the discussion area. Now, that's really nothing at all. Students get confused about this, but 4 posts each week. And just one post needs to be long, which is about 100 words. And that first post needs to address one of my writing prompts. I'm going to post 3 questions for you that you can meditate on and answer or address. You're not really answering it, but you'll see right when you open the discussion forum for the week that I have 3 questions already waiting for you. And you pick one or more, but at least one, and post at least 100 words on a topic that I picked for you. And then, or if you don't want my question, you can come up with your own question. I just need you to interact with this text a little bit. So then, that's one post, so you have 3 more. The 3 other posts, you need to respond to other students' thoughts on the writing prompts. So everybody's going to be writing 100 words on the topics. And now I want you to come back and respond to at least 3 other students. So some students will respond to everybody, and some students will just do 4, but that's what we need for each week. So I've gone over the format here. I'll post 3 questions each week. You can choose which ones to address, or you can create your own question. I'll show you how to do that. Student will discuss question with a longer post, about 100 words, and then student will post at least 3 responses to other students. So here's a sample, and I'm going to show you a real example in another video. But here you go. Instructor question: do you agree with Metzger's understanding of miracles in the New Testament? And then student A, you're going to write a longer post of about 100 words to address this topic, or a question of the student's own creation, or another question, because there'll be 2 more. And then student B will do the same thing, and then student A, B, and C will interact with each other based on what they've written here. So I hope that's not too confusing. It's actually very, very straightforward, and I'll show you examples of that later on in the course before we get started.